Hey y'all, feel free to watch part one of this story time, but I'll give you a summarized version. I met somebody on a dating app. It was very intense, it was super lovey-dovey, and then unfortunately life just happened, and what I will call the anti-Danny domino effect. So I was staying with family in a rental property. Unfortunately, they were gonna lose the house, there was no heat. I actually don't even know where to start. I think you might just need to watch part one. That being said, I bought this person tickets to Asia. We were supposed to go on a big trip. A whole bunch of stuff was happening. Things were not going well. I had to move in with my ex. Okay, let me try to start from the beginning. Home is not always the best place for me. Everybody likes to act up a little bit. And so I left for all of 2023 and I traveled for the year internationally. I stayed abroad. I visited home a couple times. Every time I came home, there was drama. And so this time I come home, I meet somebody. And also I'm supposed to cash a check for my car. A nice, pretty little coin in my pocket. Not only were my family members withholding, or actually one specific family member withholding this check from me, which stopped my financial opportunity and put me in a very, very dark and detrimental place, okay? I was with an individual who was very tumultuous. It was a very volatile experience. And yeah, so I couldn't even, I didn't have the resources I needed to kind of get away from them. I trauma bonded. I was trying to make things work despite all the red flags. And so out of this trip, we were supposed to move in, or sorry, out of this, situation, we were supposed to move in together. My spirit was like, nope, don't move in with him. It's not going to be good. I was like, well, maybe we could do a trip, right? Maybe we could salvage everything with a trip. Maybe he's just a really traumatized individual and he doesn't mean some of the things he's saying, etc. Let's try to do a trip. A trip gets booked. I paid for the flights and some of the accommodations. Ironically and poetically, I am in one of the luxury hotel resorts I had bought or whatever right now recording this. So it was meant to be. My Instagram's blowing up. Things are playing out the way they needed to be. But this was my most expensive learning lesson because this individual wasted all my money on tickets and decided to cancel due to drama. And no, this whole story time is not like this. I'm about to cut to me actually talking. I just wanted to give a little prequel or preface or whatever. But that being said, so me and this individual were seeing each other. I had to move in with my ex because I had literally nowhere else to go that could have been a safe space. The house I was living in had no heat. I know this looks very problematic, but I was dating this individual, all right, and I was committed to this individual. I was flying him out to Asia, y'all. I spent thousands and I lost that, bro. I lost hundreds of dollars. But anyways, me and this guy were dating. Me and my ex were associates. We would just cross paths occasionally in the house, but he was always out of the house. And I was explaining to this person, I'm like, yo, I bought you a trip to Asia. Like, I love you. I'm vibing with you. But he kept pulling up. He kept insisting on us hanging out, even though I asked for some space so I could do the work I needed to do because I was editing a whole bunch of stuff from my adventure from traveling for the whole year. I didn't want to go to an Asia trip after not editing my last trip, okay? I asked for space to go to the gym, whatever. I just needed space from him because we went through a lot of traumatic stuff, y'all. Oh my gosh. We had the protection of a relationship. We had the protection of being in love. But in this moment, he was showing his ass and acting up so bad. And I told him, I called him out on it. I was like, you're treating me poorly. You're driving over an hour to see me. You want to see me all the time and you're treating me poorly because you don't feel well or you're in your head or you're emotionally dysregulated. And I'm buying tickets to Asia. I'm over here working my ass off. Like, yo, I was like, baby, I love you. Like, I'm booking, I don't fly men out. What? It was like half professional, half personal relationship. It was going to be a content creation / lovey-dovey thing. Anyways, he was just really, really unsettled. And I understand if the roles were switched, I would have been too. It's not a good situation, but I was also in a house with no heat. And I do not have a good relationship with my family all the time. So I really had nowhere to go. It was the dead of winter. It was so cold. I was crying myself to sleep. So I went to my ex's and I told him there was nothing to worry about, but he found things to worry about constantly. He made sure I felt how unsettled and uncomfortable he was by making me, I went home crying a few times after we hung out. And yeah, so here we are. You can point fingers at me. Go ahead. All right, cast your stones or whatever it is. But I was so hurt. And I was like, why do you keep insisting and pulling up and hanging out and making sure we both feel the bad mood that you're going through? It's painful. It's not productive for me. I got things to do. I'm trying to plan this trip out, etc. We were arguing about that, accommodations, etc. He thought I was paying for the whole trip. It was just a lot, y'all. So anyways, I was just in a bad mood. It got to the point I did go ahead and break up with him, yes, while I was living with my ex. I know it looks so bad, but you're sending me home crying multiple times and you're not perking up until you see me sobbing. I was trying to take a nonchalant attitude because he was just being a lot and kind of mean. And apparently me being nonchalant it was just too much, y'all. So anyways, we did break up and that just made it 10 times worse. And then he was like, well, I don't want to go on a trip. We're not dating. I'm like, no, I'm trying to be in love with you on the trip. But you acting a fool right now. So yeah. So he starts pulling up more, and he's pulling up with the bad mood energy again. And it gets to the point where I was moving. On the moving day, I paid my ex to just come pick me up, grab my stuff, help me go to an appointment. I paid him. It was a paid thing. The thing I liked about it was that he ain't bothered me. I ain't have to talk. He didn't clock me for being on my phone. He didn't make me feel bad for not talking in the car ride because I didn't feel like fucking talking. I paid him. I sent him a cash app. I ran my errands. I got to go mind my business. I get to mind my business around my ex because we're not super close. That was the best part about it. And so I let him know that. He's like, well, I really would appreciate if you saved your errands to run with me. I don't know why he's helping you with errands. Like, gives us something to do type shit. Like, because he basically had this, like, he didn't want to stay at my family's rental property because he was discouraged about, like, the whole rental thing. It was cold. He just didn't like it. He said it was uncomfortable, which was fair, but it's the same for me. So now I moved out of it and you don't have the option to stay there no more. It was a problem. I was now in a more comfortable situation and he didn't like that. And I understand it looks bad. I'm living with my ex, but like after everything I told y'all, like you joked about my parents, bro. Like I need to get the fuck out of here. So he starts pulling up and he doesn't know exactly where my ex was staying, but he starts pulling up and he's in the bad mood again. Please remember that during this whole time, I'm over here booking Asia. I'm seeing my account go down, down, down. And I'm like, damn, I've never flown anybody out before, let alone a man. And I'm like, you know, thankfully, he's just gonna at least be my peace. He understands that I moved into my ex's crib at the time because I really needed a safe space. I kind of had this like, I'm gonna pay him back. Like, cause I felt like he was doing this like, oh, you owe me. Like I was so good to you. I was so good to you. So I'm like, all right, I'm not trying to move in. I'm not comfortable. We could do Asia. Surely we could do Asia. I'll have limited belongings. I can lock up my suitcase. I'll keep all the stuff off my phone again. I'll change my password. And, you know, maybe we'll be okay. Or maybe we'll just see how shit goes. But, like, it was one of those things where I was trying to keep him, well, I mean, like, keep your enemies close. He's not my enemy, but I just had this, like, I want to keep an eye on him. Because when he thinks we're enemies, like, he's ready to go to war on my social media or whatever. So I'm trying to show him, like, hey, just chill out. Just vibe. It's okay. It's really okay. And so I moved into my ex's spot at the time and I found peace. I was waking up, he was gone to work the next day. He'd be working really long hours, like with truck stuff. And I had found peace. And I was in the house by myself. I was able to make myself breakfast and camp and make money. And you saw it in my work. I was glowing. I was posting on my little private premium thing. And everybody was like, oh, you seem happy. And I was just happier. And I guess he took that as, oh, you moved in with your ex, you're happier now. And I took it as I just got out of the craziest clusterfuck of a holiday season I've ever had in my life. And you were contributing to that as well. And now I'm here and I could think and I could breathe and I'm like, oh my gosh. So, and he was like, oh, well, you're acting brand new. You're moving different. You're moving nonchalant. I'm like, I was disassociating at the house when you was doing all that stuff. Now I'm just at peace here because I'm like, okay, well, at least I have more control over myself, my environment. It's still a risk to take for sure. And our friendship is, if you can even call it that, is not even close enough to like, you know, be like, oh my gosh, you know, come here, roomie. But it got to that point. It was kind of like, he was like, hey, listen, the economy's hard. I'll take the rent. I'm like, I'll mind my business, lay low. I'll pay the rent. And that's what it was. So he starts pulling up. Asia's supposed to get planned. At one point, I was just like, all right, I got it. Don't worry about it. And then I did get overwhelmed. I was trying to plan a big ass Asia trip according to his preferences and desires, which made it harder to book things. I've been on trips before where I planned it for people. I paid for shit and they won't participate in anything. And then they'll complain when they get there. Well, I would have preferred, shut the fuck up. You could have preferred whatever you wanted in your house. Going nowhere. Leave me alone. So I was trying to make him a part of the process and like I would just get frustrated. We'd be on FaceTime and he'd be like, I'd be like, okay, so like this, that, and the third for Busan. And he's like, oh, your mom's a da-da-da-da. Just like childish, immature stuff that's not progressing the conversation. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna hang up now. Maybe we could plan this later. A couple times we tried to sit down at the library and plan it out and he was just antsy. He didn't want to plan anything. And then like another time we sat at the library and he was supposed to help me look at some stuff. He looked at some stuff and he just kind of like picked the first one he saw and he's like, okay, done. And I was like, all right. And then he wanted to go back to the car and grab something. But my stuff was in the car, to be honest. And I had just taken out a bunch of like foreign money in preparation for the trip for us. And I wasn't fully comfortable just based on how he's moved around my stuff before. Like, I know it's his car, but I just wasn't comfortable that like out of all times we've hung out, suddenly he had to go back to the car when there was money in there and my personal belongings. And I'm not accusing him of anything. I'm not saying anything would have been done. But he did tell me, like, let me hold on to a couple stacks till the trip. trip ain't even happening now. I would have looked dumb as giving you some foreign money on a trip that I don't even know if you were serious about going on. And then what happened? So he did say he was going to quit his job, and he found out he could take leave, right? I was like, all right, cool, that's great. Like, you come back, you got immediate source of income, that's amazing, because, you know, you come back from a trip, you want to have that bread ready. So he said he was going to take leave, and then suddenly it resulted in him quitting. And then, like, also he said he had a whole free week before the trip, so I guess he quit earlier than the trip was supposed to happen. I don't know why, but okay. And then he started, like, just little stuff. It wasn't a complaint, but one time we were on FaceTime, he's like, oh man, I forgot. There's this game that's supposed to come out, because he's a huge gamer, he's a huge smoker. He's like, there's a game supposed to come out in the middle of February, and oh damn, we'll be on the trip. And I'm like, damn, like, you more excited about the game than the trip? Because at some points I was booking tickets. I was like, yo, this is booked, like Bali's booked, Busan's booked, Tokyo's booked. And he's like, cool, thanks, babe. And there was no excitement. He's like, listen, I just don't really get excited about stuff. That's cap. I've seen him get excited over cartoons more than he did over this trip. And I think it was just less of like a, oh, I want to go to Asia, and not realizing, I'm sure he wants to go or wanted to go, and I'm sure he realizes it would have been an amazing ass trip. I think it was more so like, I just want to be wherever you're at type vibes. Like, and I need to have you in a certain capacity. If I cannot have you in that capacity, I don't give a fuck. So once I started kind of thinking clearly and I was away, and I was like, damn, booking all these flights, he was stressing me out. I'm over here buying tickets for 2. Honey, tickets for 2. Some of these are non-refundable. I'm not getting my shit back. I just wasted money. It was just a very expensive learning lesson. And I'm over here thinking like, oh, I paid for like a partner and assisted on the trip. We're supposed to have like a Valentine's Day hotel in one country and this and the third, bro. Like, so he starts kind of like, I just felt like he was terrorizing me a little bit. He kept wanting to pull up. I told him I needed space during this time. He's like, so when am I seeing you? When am I seeing you this week? So he kept pulling up. He'd be in a bad mood. Remember I told you I liked being able to run my errands and just pay and nobody bothers me? I saved some of my errands for him. He's like, okay, I'm just here to do my job, like in reference to the driving. I don't want to feel like nobody's burden. So he was like, where do we go next? Okay, let me do this. Let me do my job. Like, very much Eeyore energy. And it got to the point, like, we'd run our errands. He's like, what's next? All right. Like, he didn't want to be there. Like, he hated being with me. So there was a point we were in Walmart. I was shopping, and I had started running around getting my stuff. Like, you know, like the baskets in one place, and you're in, like, say, the hygiene aisle, started grabbing pads, little travel stuff. Just everything was in the same area. And I saw him looking at body wash. I'm like, okay, like, we're close to each other. Apparently that was an issue. He goes, well, you're in Walmart doing your own thing. Nigga, I'm shopping. I said I want to be able to pay to run my errands and keep it a buck. Like, it's the same. I'm not going to compare you to Uber. That's rude as shit. But I'm just sometimes not in the mood to chat. So the days you want to hang out and force it, I'm just not there. And that's okay. So sometimes I just need to get in the ride share or hop in the ride from a friend or whatever. But like, so he was like, what happened? He disappeared after I had finished like grabbing the items in the area. I could literally see him. So he walked off or whatever. And so I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll just go to the register, because I'm not going to chase you down. I'm not begging. Like, it's the setup for the chase that pisses me off. I'm not chasing you down. I'm not begging, baby, where you at? So I'm in line, and I get a text like, I guess I'll go to the car or something. I was like, okay. So I just didn't reply. I'm like, I guess I'll see him at the car. He finds me in line. I was like, hey, what's up? He's like, hey, I was like, I thought you were going to the car, so I'm just here. I'm just checking out. He's like, oh, okay, well, I'll just go to the car. Like, bro, this shopping's not supposed to be that hard. Shopping's not supposed to be that hard. It does not have to be. If I'm in the car with him, it'd be, oh, you're on your phone, or if I had headphones in, right, or AirPods, and nothing was playing, and I hear him purposely setting it up so later he can complain about shit. He goes, well, I guess we're just not going to talk since you're listening to music. And if I was listening to music, trying to mind my business and restore my peace, it would have been a problem. And later he would have been like, well, you're ignoring me in the car. I couldn't even talk to you. I'd be like, what? When did you say something? I'm like, oh, we could talk. I put the AirPods away. He forces a conversation about the status of our relationship, which is declining, by the way, and forcing me to talk about shit I do not want to talk about in the moment. To the point where I'm being more resentful towards our relationship because you're bringing it up every 2 seconds and trying to either force forever in the future or force me into shit I don't want to do. So he's like, what's going on? Like, are we coming back? We had agreed at one point, like, it would make sense to live together after Asia before shit just got too bad and too dark. And it was like, okay, like coming back from Asia and being able to have a place to go. That makes sense. It's very adult of us, right? So that was the plan. I started to realize, I'm like, ooh, I don't think I could live with him. I would literally keep all my stuff in storage and pay extra money just to not have my stuff around him. But damn, what about you as a person? You're priceless. So like, do you really want to have yourself around him? Do you feel safe enough? I was like, I guess I feel safe enough. I'm not sure, this and the third. So I started getting to the point, I was like, listen, I realized that we cannot live together in a romantic capacity. You're too comfortable violating.
I'm sometimes also too comfortable violating. I'm not comfy with the situation. So that created a whole issue. I don't want to talk while you're driving. You already showed you will speed with me in the car and swerve in and out and fuck us both up. So I'm not okay with that. I don't want to have conversations in the car. So like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, we're talking and he's like getting tense again and he's driving. We're crossing over a bridge and I'm like, nigga, this is not comfortable for me. Like, I don't want to keep having the fucking vein in my neck. I don't want to keep having talks in the car where you are in control of my life, my emotional well-being. So of course that day had also ended with me crying yet again. He's like, come on, you're not gonna come to the car, smoke me out. And there'd be moments we'd be sitting in the car in front of my ex's crib and he's like, what, you're not gonna like you're not gonna smoke me out, you're not gonna suck my dick, you're not. I'm like, I'm tired, I be working all fucking day, you're not making me want to suck your dick. Respectfully, you're making it very hard on me emotionally. I am not attracted to that. So he started speculating that like, oh, you must be fucking your ex and doing this, that, and the third because you don't want to fuck me no more. No, you are emotionally terrorizing me. I'm not about to gag on your shit. I am stressed. I'm stressed. I am working my ass off, making calls, making bread, whatever, doing customs, trying to get some of my money back. I'm trying to get some of my money back because you're stressing me out. You're not even showing not enough gratitude, but you're not even really showing any gratitude. It's like, oh, thanks, baby. I've seen you get more hype over like weed and other little things that you like than you are over this trip. So it sounds like you just want to be by my side to terrorize me. Like, I'm doing the most to accommodate. I pushed the trip up earlier because he wanted to go earlier. Now you complaining about some, oh, there's a game I'm gonna miss. I wanted to play it and stream it and it comes out as soon as we leave. I didn't want to leave till March. So y'all, it was a mess. It was a mess. It really like it just I could have saved so much bread, bro. And I didn't care. Like, if I'm in love and if I really vibe with you, I'll do for you. I'll do for you. But like, if you gonna turn around and like, so he just stressed me out. I actually take a break. I know it looks so bad because I was living with my ex. He's like, oh, like you gotta be cheating. And I'm like, you are doubling down on making me feel miserable. I'm telling you, I got into a safe space. I'm telling you, I'm paying half this man's rent. Why the fuck you think I'm about to be fucking and sucking on somebody I'm paying rent for or towards? Like, he's not putting me up as a favor, none of that. Like, I'm here to work. I need a safe space. So I was sitting there, like, he just started going in. It was the calls and this. It was a lot of passive aggressiveness. Like, oh, well, are you alone? He started clocking how many blunts I was smoking or, like, how much of a blunt I had left or when I was smoking or when. Honey. He was like, give me a tour of your ex's place. No, next thing you know, you're trying to bring in that bitch. Like, I don't know. I don't know how far you can go. I've only known you for 2 months. And he would say that too. He'd be like, oh, love, soulmates. I'm trying to marry you before the trip. And then be like, oh, we only knew each other for 2 months. Like, so I got to a point I was stressed. I finally got the little safe space. Ironically and crazy enough, I found that temporarily at my ex's before I got my own. And he, during that time, was just terrorizing. Like, I think there's a cute level of possessiveness, like, oh, da-da-da. And then there's accusatory. Like, he would just straight up say stuff like, oh, yeah, because you bugging him, right, doing this, or da-da-da. Or he'd always make jokes like, oh, you out here fucking niggas and this shit. And I was like, all right, the jokes about me being a whore are getting a little old. Like, first it's funny, like, oh, haha, you're so secure that you can make jokes about me cheating. And then it's like, okay, no, because you're showing a lot of insecurities, you cannot make those jokes anymore because I don't know what is the truth. So I think it really was like, if I put my attention somewhere else, it was a problem. And like during the, man, even like we were booking shit and he was like, well, how much time are you going to give me on the trip? Well, like, or I just need to know what to expect. Like, are you going to be working during the trip, like editing? Or I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be doing some stuff and be editing and shit. Like, we got plenty of time. We're going to be sitting around on vacation for months. Yeah, I'm going to be doing something if I'm not editing, like not working, but like editing. If I'm not editing, I'm going to listen to an audiobook. I might work on some music. I might work on a little YouTube vlog here and there. I like to maximize my time. I'm not gonna be sitting in your face for hours. And I started to notice like he just could not get enough attention from me. Like one point where I was talking to him, I think for like 30 minutes straight, phone down, maybe an hour actually, just looking him in the eye, talking, the way I'm talking to y'all whole time. And he had the audacity to still complain about not getting enough time for me right after. Talking about something, I just need 10 minutes of your day. No, you don't. You need the whole day and then some. Like, and it was also like, when we lived together, he wanted us to be on the same schedule. Like, he would go to work. My work starts at night. My calls, all my sex work and stuff, it's better at night, virtually. So when he was off work, I was starting work. That was a big problem for him. And he had this like, no, I'm off work. I drove an hour to come see you. You're going to give me your time. Like, or you can multitask, but you're going to hear me passively aggressive complain about it the whole time. Or like one time I was on a call and then he would start... bro, it was a lot. So he started stressing me. I'm over here like, damn, I'm booking tickets for 2, and you really stressing me the fuck out. Like, you think I'm just in here? Like, he's like, are you playing with me? And then I had this, like, I go to the car and I just started dreading it a little bit. Like, I would go in like, hey, happy energy. He would do things like pull away from me. Before we go in stores, he'd pull his hand away from me, deny me love and shit like that. So when I started doing that to him, the exact same behaviors, oh, he was hurt. Nigga, I'm acting like you. It's hurtful. It's hurtful. If people were to act like the way you act, you'd be hurt. Trust. Like, just y'all, it was so much. It was so much. And it wasn't all bad. There were so many beautiful moments where I was like, damn, this really is my husband. And then he would go do some shit. I'm like, oh, all right. There's that baggage. I know I got mine too, but baby, we overweight. Honey, these bags ain't making it on a plane. We are over. And he done called a couple times today after, oh, okay. So let me speed it up. Damn, it's gonna be like a 2-hour story time. My bad, y'all. But I'm gonna talk about it. I feel like it's gonna be an issue in the future, so I want to go ahead and get it off my chest because it's giving weird, very weird energy. He tried to call me weird. He tried to demonize me and all this shit, and I just like, baby, I got receipts. I literally have a text from you talking about some. No, I didn't say I was gonna. Your parents. I was gonna my own parent. Nigga, pay me out as much as you want. I don't got a bone in my body that'll make me think them thoughts, or a fucking neuron in my brain that'll make me think them thoughts, or whatever. Anyways. But yeah, so he started like doing the most, and I did ask to break up, and then like he wasn't respectful of that, and he was pushing for exclusivity again. I was like, I can give you exclusivity, that's fine. But then we both had a confusion on what that meant. I thought he meant exclusive friends with benefits. He thought we were dating again, so he was forcing the relationship again. And he was just forcing the relationship down my throat. The more you force something, the less it flows. I realized that the more you force it, the less it's going to flow. And whatever natural course it could have taken that would have been a vibe, you lose the chances of it because you just were so pushy with it. Like, I was telling him, I was like, I like my man a little busy. I need you to find your chill. I need you to regulate. I'm not saying you can't come to me with your issues, but just regulate a little bit. Don't put it all on me type shit. So it got to the point where I was getting flustered. So I booked all the flights, and he told me on Friday or a Friday that he would have the bread for me because, oh, this is what happened. So I'm excited for this trip, right? I'm like, damn, this dynamic sucks, but we're going on this trip. At least we have Asia. At least we have Asia. At least we have Asia. He goes, what would it take for you to cancel this trip? I'm like, nothing. If you're willing to go, we're going. So I'm ordering clothes. I'm looking fine as fuck. I'm at the gym. My ass is getting fat again. My mental's kind of restoring itself. I'm feeling real fucking good. Rent's kind of kicking my butt a little bit because I'm trying to put all this money towards the trip. But it's all good. Me booking this man's tickets kind of kicking my ass a little bit, but it's all good. Like, it's all love, right? So I start ordering stuff. And he starts making little comments, like, he said something, he's like, well, after we broke up or whatever, he goes, he really wanted to go to Asia as a couple, and I'm like, you're emotionally terrorizing me, like, you're making it very hard. And he's like, well, it is a free Asia trip, and I was like, free? I was like, the flights are free, but we never discussed what was and what was not free. It was just kind of like I want to follow you around the world. I'm like, okay, you can come to Asia if you want. Oh, it's too expensive. The thing he highlighted was the flights. He goes like, the flight over there itself is like 1,000. I'm like, I can find better. And I'm like, don't worry about it. That's what I was saying, don't worry about. I wasn't giving you a whole free Asia trip. So I ordered some clothes, and he was like, oh, like, did you order some for me? And I'm like, your bank broke? Sorry, let me stop. But I was confused because I was like, remember, I pushed the trip back so we could both work and get some more pocket money in. He got like a whole month or so to save, and he would make little comments like, oh, I splurged, I treated myself today, I stocked up on smoke again, and I bought in bulk, and okay, but it's fine. And then he quit the job a week early, and I'm like, please, like, I told him I would cover us for stuff if there was an emergency, but please do not think I'm just gonna like take care of shit for you, like take care of a whole trip. At one point he's like, so if I'm at the store in Asia or at the market or whatever, and I see something I like, and I'm like, yo, can you get this for me, you gonna get it? I'm like, and then he made a comment. He's like, listen, if you want to go broke over booking an Asia trip for us, that's fine. I'm not going to stop you. And I'm like, who said I was going broke? Who said I was going to spend all my bread on it? That's a mighty bold assumption. So he said something about the clothes. I ordered some cheap clothes or whatever. I still got to like return some of them back. And he was like, oh, you didn't order me anything. He's like, my bad. I just thought I was still on baby boy vibes. And before he's offered to pay my bills, but I never took it up. He asked me if I was going to pay his, or he got police tickets or whatever. for speeding because we had 2 arguments and he went to go speed and risk his life, and he tried to blame that on me, and he's like, well, you can pay him if you want, but I got it. And I was like, okay, he said he got it, so I ignored it. Later he was like, oh, well, I thought you said you were gonna pay him. And I'm like, no, you said you had it, so I left it alone. Like, this is some unclear boundaries right now. Okay, I'm still trying to be smart. I just booked you. Like, I don't know if he doesn't understand how much I spent on the Asia tickets, because baby, we in the thousands, okay, but we're even. Whatever you thought I owed you, that you claimed I didn't owe you because you're doing it out of love, we're even. So we have a talk one morning, and I'm like, listen, I'm trying to book stuff. I'm trying to book accommodations per your request because you don't fuck with hostels. What's up? Can we book? He's like, yeah, do your thing. I'm like, okay, are we going 50-50? He was like, oh. So we have a whole day. That was a day in itself. And he's like, I didn't realize you expected me to pay for any accommodations for an Asia trip for 2 to 3 months. And you will not stay in any of them cheap $10 hostels that look like a motherfucking vibe, by the way. If I do end up, I don't know what's gonna happen with this trip, but whatever, y'all. The hostels be lit over there. And you can meet people. Like, he was already clocking. He's like, how much time we gonna spend together? I was like, I'm trying to meet some people. Like, ain't no way we gonna be on this trip and not meet other friends. Not romantic, but friends. Like, you better go socialize. I'm not trying to be in your face every single motherfucking day, respectfully, for 2-3 months straight. And that's what scared me about moving in together in an apartment too. I need my space. He's traveled before. It's not like I was trying to take him out the country and he's never been and he's nervous. He's an international traveler as well. He had experience, military brat, Europe, traveling, all that. He's been traveling. He knows how to travel. And he always complained. He was saying that when he traveled with family, like, they were too controlling. So I had let him know about the accommodations, and he thought I was booking the flights and accommodations for a 2 to 3 month Asia trip. We were supposed to pay rent. If we would have been living together, we would have been paying rent. 2 months alone is $1,500 a piece. Why do you think I was covering all of Asia? That is your place to live for those months. So just because we didn't move in together, that is essentially some form of rent. So I was like, oh yeah, we need to talk. Like, we're confused. So he kind of had like this little like chip on his shoulder about that, I felt like. And then he did let me know, like, okay, what are we thinking? Like 1,000, 1.5. And I'm like, that's crazy, because 1,000 is still cheaper than 2 months of rent sitting in a boring ass city that we don't even vibe with, but okay. And I was like, yeah, that sounds good. So he's like, he was gonna send it. He said Friday. And then Friday hit, and I'm like, hey, do you want to book these accommodations? And he's like, listen, I got to transfer from my bank because my bank's not going to let me transfer the money from my accounts over the weekend. I got to wait till Monday. I was like, I'm not going to ask questions, but that sounds weird. But okay, whatever, right? So during that time, I had got fed up because I was like trying to just discuss accommodations. I was like, the whole 1,000 like transferring over sounds weird. Him already thinking I was gonna pay for the accommodations too without asking me and just assuming and thinking, like, when he said it was a free Asia trip, I was like, I never said I was giving you a free Asia trip. You said you wanted to follow me around the world and you complained about the Asia flights. I let you know I'd handle it. That's the part I handled. And if you had an emergency and you ran out of bread there, I got you. Not spend all your money and then come look to mommy for what's up. And he started talking about I was acting brand new because I got a little bread. He started posting on my Instagram talking about some, oh, you got some money, now you're acting like disgusting. I'm like, you're the same one who tells me we'll be going on a date. He's like, you're paying. And he's covered plenty, but like just the energy of like, oh, fuck you, you're paying. Oh, okay, I just wanted to see if you would. Just like, it's just kind of weird to me. And then he asked me like, so like, are you my sugar mama or something? Or he's like, I need to be a sugar baby. I'm like, then go be a sugar baby. It's not me. You can't be looking for love and also be talking about some, oh, I need a sugar, You can find it in both, the 2-in-1 package, but it's not with me. So good luck, Charlie. But yeah, so that had happened. And I got fed up and I was like, this trip is just not booked. Like, every time I try to hop on the phone and book something, he's acting weird. So then he sent me a message and he let me know, like, I did send him some of his trip confirmations, but not all of them because he's a little unpredictable. These tickets, some of them were booked together. If you have a confirmation number for one, you catch my flow. We both know each other's names. Next thing you know, shit's canceled. My shit too. So I didn't send him everything because he moves a little unpredictably. I know I don't cancel trips. Those are non-refundable tickets. I don't be canceling trips. I go on my trips. So I sent him like some of the tickets I booked separately. And then the rest of them, I just kept. He's like, I don't even have it. Like, I don't have confirmation. So I felt like maybe he thought he didn't have much control over the trip. So I had let him know regarding accommodations that I was going to book, and I wanted him to participate in like looking up places. That way we get there, we can't complain because he picked it out too type shit. Okay, so with the accommodations thing, I was just fed up. Honestly, it was the attitude. He had a nasty ass, stink ass attitude. He didn't start smiling and getting chipper until a bitch was crying, walking back into the crib. Like, it was just really weird. The energy was not giving. It was making me sad. I was not excited to go on the trip no more as much as I thought I wanted to be. And it just was not giving. So with the accommodations, he sends me a message. He goes, and you're going to need to send me an invoice of the accommodation so I know what I'm paying for. Well, I should have sent you an invoice of all them damn free flights so you knew what I was paying for, even if you didn't have to send any money. Mind you, he hasn't sent me a dime towards this trip, and I didn't ask him to. So all of a sudden now he needs to invoice if he's going to send 1K my way for the accommodations, which is fair. Protect yourself. Protect yourself. But I thought it went better. I go, yeah, you can book the accommodations. Easy peasy. You don't gotta send me a dime. All your flights are free. Book the accommodations yourself. Figure it out. Go ahead. Because right now I'm using my time and energy. You're not even treating me right. And I'm looking for accommodations to accommodate you. And you're acting like you don't even want to go on this trip for real. So I was like, you can book it. I was like, I'm probably, honestly, I might do my own thing, own hostels and stuff like that. Stuff over there is so cheap that even if I wasn't like contributing to half of it, it'd still be good. We were supposed to spend like almost a whole month in one place. I had already pre-booked all of that. So there was less he needed to book, and he could do it so on his own time, essentially. The moment I said that, it seemed to be problematic, and it was like, oh, so now we're not going to stay together. I'm like, I'm nervous. You're moving weird. You're treating me weird. It sounds like you just want me in your face to be mean when you feel like being mean and being nice when you feel like being nice. I'm going to have to put a lock on my suitcase to even be around you, which is weird to me. If we're sharing a room, I got to lock up my suitcase. I got to hide the money. I said, I got you. I booked flight. Nobody's ever flown me out. Ever. You got like over 10 cities. Multiple tickets out the country. Talking about somebody need an invoice. That's fair. Book it yourself. Go ahead. Yeah, I'm not a travel agent. Book it yourself. So after that happened, it was like a whoa, like the energy just got fucked up. And I was like, you know what, it's for the better. I'm gonna save a lot more money staying in hostels anyway. At one point, he thought it was a free Asia trip because I told him all you need is 2K. He goes, I thought the 2K was for the apartment I was gonna get when we come back. And I'm like, so what were you gonna spend in Asia? And I was giving you an extra month or so, actually like kind of 2 months to work. We weren't supposed to leave till March. It was January at the time. Like, I was giving you 2 months to stack. If you're working, you're making this much, and then you still got the apartment bread too. I'm not trying to pocket watch, but I'm like, you can't tell me you're gonna follow me around the world on my dime and then be treating me shitty too. Like, what? You pulling up with an attitude, you sending me back crying after hanging out. You're not even saying thank you to Christmas gifts I'm giving you. Like, bro. So that happened. And after that, it just got worse. He started moving really weird. And he had this like, yeah, whatever, I'm not going. He said multiple times he wasn't going on the trip. He's like, for the 4th time, I'm not going. Because it just got to the point where it was bad. When I was like, book your own accommodations, like, or at least book it on our behalf. It don't even have to be your own accommodations. I'm not saying we have to stay separately, but just book it. You handle accommodations. I did the flights, you handle the accommodations. Because every time I try to sit down and plan or talk to you about it, something, oh, you're antsy, you don't want to do it, you're not feeling it, let's talk about it later, or you're making your mom jokes or whatever. I can't plan a trip with somebody like that. So, and I don't want to book something and we get there and it's, what'd you book for us? You know, I'm bougie, I can't. So it just got worse and worse, and it got to the point where we started arguing, and he said multiple times he wasn't going, like whatever. It's safe to say I know the side of himself that he presented to an extent, and I knew the moment I made a decision, he would call me out and be like, oh no, it wasn't even that serious. So he said multiple times he was not going on a trip anymore after I was like, I never canceled the trip. Y'all, I never canceled it. Never did. I just said, get your own accommodations or book on our behalf type shit. And after that, it was like, what? I gotta do, So we got into it. He said he wasn't coming after like 4 times. And I was like, okay, like, I know we both get moody and we change our mind. I don't want to wake up the next day and you're like, no, I'm going, wait. My problem is if I think I'm going on a trip with somebody, I get in that mentality. I'm shopping different. I'm booking different. I would have changed the dates, the flights, how long I stayed. I want to shop different. I got all this cute stuff that I'm not really fully comfortable wearing by myself. I had like, oh, a man's going to be by my side and we're going to help each other take pictures. Like, so I'm going to dress real cute type shit. I would have changed the whole wardrobe. My clothes already came in. I would have did things so differently. I wouldn't have left as early as I was supposed to. Like, if now I'm trying to cancel tickets that are connected. How am I supposed to cancel one ticket and not the other? But like, bro, it's just... So anyways, I think he knew I wasn't going to cancel. So I did start bluffing because I was like, okay, well, just let me know if I need to cancel the ticket or like change the name if I can, because like this is really weird and whatever. He's like, So he started like playing hard to get. I was blowing up his phone. He's like, oh, you're psycho. You blowing me up. What? I already said I'm not going. And it really was because at the end of the day, I didn't want to live with him. I really believe that. It was a combo deal for him. It was, we're going to be in a relationship. We're going to be in love. He was hypothetically talking about getting married before the trip. He's like, I'm just throwing it out there. We were going to go on this trip, be in each other's face, honeymoon vibe. We're going to come back, live together, and have an apartment. And he's going to start his streaming journey, and I'm going to start my social media journey. All of that. It was that or nothing. I really believe that was the case. When I started telling him I'm not comfortable living with him, but like I do hope we can make Asia work, I think it became problematic. He had this like, well, fuck it, I'm not trying to go anywhere with you for real. That was the vibe I was getting. I can only assume. And yeah, so that had happened. And I was like, listen, I'm gonna cancel. He's like, you said you're gonna cancel this the other day. You already said you canceled that. And I'm like, cause I'm trying to match your energy. And I'm like, I'm letting you know, like, it's hurtful. Like, for safety, I was excited to have somebody by my side, to have somebody help me film and me help them film. Cause I've taken fire pictures. All the pictures he has, I've been taking of him. He has really unflattering pictures of me, which I do not like. Me sleeping on like an air mattress, me not looking my best. Like, he has some really fucked up shots of me, and I'm like, all right, I guess that's gonna be part of my cancellation package in the future for social media. He has fire shots. I literally dug out the sunset light so like we could have a vibe, and he ended up taking some cool pictures I took for him. I was excited. Like, I put him onto a couple things. I'm like, you look good with circular glasses. So he started wearing circular glasses, dangly earrings, and he started joking about, he's like, oh, I'm about to act brand new, I'm about to act real different, I'm about to act real new on everybody. And I'm like, ooh, I think the social media journey is going to go to your head. Like, he would talk about something like, oh, I get discouraged because I don't get enough views. I'm like, you got to do it because you love it, not because of the numbers. He's like, yeah, but, you know, he was getting excited when we post on the couples page, the TikToks. He's like, this one has almost 1,000. And I'm like, I think you're going to get caught up in the journey, and I don't want the journey to catch you up like that, for real. You gotta drop the numbers and do it because you love it. So to have somebody who's trying to like come and deface me on social media already, and this is somebody I was intimately involved with, who literally put my life at risk and has threatened my family, and then trying to make me seem like a very, very bad person, it's just hurtful. All of Asia is booked. The ticket got canceled. He told me, he was real smug about it. Cause I got to the point, like, he wants me to beg. I know what it was. He wanted me to beg, and I did for a little bit. And I was like, listen, like, it's already booked. And he's like, nope, I'm not going. No, it's already da. And he told me in like the smug little tone, he goes, you're not canceling because it's gonna cost you more to rebook everything. So you're not canceling. Canceled. But yeah, y'all, so we're here. He called me twice today right after I canceled it. I don't know if he was shocked that I did or not, but it's been painful. It's been painful. This is why I don't involve anybody in my travels. I have like a whole ass birthday horror story for an old best friend I planned a trip for. Maybe one day I'll do a story time about that. That shit was a mess. I paid for everything as well. Ungrateful as fuck. I think people get ungrateful because they don't know how to respond to just, you know, say thank you and keep it pushing. You don't gotta feel inferior or weird about it. Somebody did something nice for you. I'm gonna wrap it up because I'm getting a little tired. I don't want to talk about this no more, and I definitely don't want to edit it. But that being said, I am proud of myself that I didn't let 2 months be 2 years. I started seeing signs and I clocked them, and even though I was in certain states like high or drunk or whatever, I definitely did start like paying attention. I started reaching out to friends and stuff like that just so I can get like an unbiased opinion. I really think the like apartment was like a blessing in disguise, because first it was like a damn, we got denied, and it was like a, oh damn, all right, maybe the universe was trying to look out a little bit, maybe for both of us, you never know. Sorry, my tripod's a little crooked. The energy was ambiguous a lot of the times, and I feel like it got a little manipulative, or it intensified when he didn't get his way, and I don't think he was very well aware of that. Like, I know it's supposed to work out like this. Or a lot of the times too, like, he would hold me accountable for my word. Like, he told me that I wasn't being transparent and I wasn't coming to him and communicating, but I told him, you did not create a safe space for me to communicate. If I did not tell you what you wanted to hear, or I did not do what you wanted me to do, it wasn't a good reaction. So it gets to the point where you start to get quiet, you start to mind your business, you start to like, you know. And I want to say that too, like, It's crazy because, again, this person was in the psych field. So I feel like you have to be really careful, because when people try to start isolating you with only them, like, he got hostile with my friends, I was reaching out to family, he's like, no, you know, your family's not making you feel well. And I'm like, yeah, but all relationships are complicated, and you can't be the only person I know and talk to and vibe with. Like, that's what we're not about to do. And it got to the point where it was like, I realized that love is voluntary. You choose to stay because you love it there, you enjoy it there. If you have to be in somebody's face every day, forcing yourself onto them and letting them know, like, no, remember, we love each other and this is all the amazing things I do for you, and your relationship cannot stand any type of like distance, challenges, situations, whatever, you might not be in the healthiest of relationships, because I really do feel like love is voluntary, and it's people who choose to allow to give you access to them and vice versa. It's people who choose to spend their time with you, to waste the days away happily and all that stuff. And if it gets to the point where somebody's not comfortable doing that anymore, or you feel like you have to be in their face to remind them that, you know, y'all could be a vibe and this is what could be, and you have to keep reminding them that, either they don't value your worth, or you're doing a little too much because you know that it's a little complicated. So that's it. I'm glad I peeped what it was crazy because it was really beautiful at so many points. Man, the energy was strong, the magic was strong. But I gotta remember, some of that comes from within too, when you're carrying that. I have a lot of beautiful interactions with a lot of people, and some of it comes from me, some of it comes from the other person. And I think you have to kind of look at that like chemical makeup. Like, what do you create when you're with somebody? You know, it could be like a project, it could be a collaboration, it could be a relationship. What type of energy is created when you're with somebody? How do they affect you by being in your life? Is it a good reaction? Is it a good, you know, or is it explosive and dangerous and messy and chaotic? And if y'all are creating chaos all the time, or just complications, or things that are not making either of y'all's life easier. I did not have full clarity on the entire situation until I was away from the person I was trying to seek comfort in, because they could make it worse. I had to reach out to friends. I felt stuck. I felt stagnant. And I can't believe I'm almost 30 and my life is this messy. But I think, I want to say it's a bullet. He said I was a bullet he dodged. Baby, he was a missile. Straight up. Again, if you are around somebody and your love can only survive if you're in their face every day, reminding them how much y'all love each other and why you are meant to be together forever, instead of just letting it feel that way and flow that way, you have to force it and be like, hey, no, forever, da da da. It might not be what you think it's supposed to be. And yeah, if you're gonna keep hearing stuff over and over, you'll fall for it too. Like, oh yeah, it's okay forever, yeah, da, da. And that was starting to happen. I was like, okay, yeah, forever, like, yeah, let's do this. Like, and then I thought about it. I was like, I'm not ready. I told him, I was like, either I'm not ready for a relationship, or we are just not compatible for a relationship together. Honestly, every day was tumultuous, whatever. Every day was a lot. And I felt like I was making emotional contracts. Like, he would try to get me to like to agree to stuff, like how the day was gonna go, or things like just within our relationship. But the behavior was changing every day. So how are you supposed to agree to a vibe that is ever changing? How are you supposed to be on board for that? So I would change my mind a lot, and I was like, ooh, like, no, never mind. Because, okay, if the week goes by and we say we're gonna see each other on Saturday, and throughout the week you done stressed me the fuck out, and I am no longer eager to see you, yeah, I might cancel. And that was becoming an issue. It was like, oh, you said we were gonna do this Saturday, and I'm like, you didn't say you were gonna terrorize me or do this throughout the week. That makes it harder for me to see you. So I slipped into like this really like nonchalant gray rock flow state, and apparently the nonchalance was an issue too. Like I said, apparently because I wasn't showing enough emotion, it was a problem. And so it got to the point where like he was literally making me cry, or like forcing things, or like forcing us to talk about feelings and emotions and us, to the point where I was like walking away from hanging out crying. And then he was like, oh, she's still human, like, cool, let's smoke. And I'm like, no, I'm literally don't want to smoke, I'm in a bad mood now. Oh, but I think that's what you wanted. Maybe you didn't realize it, you just wanted somebody to join you in your bad mood. I think some things were taken personally, like me not wanting to be sexual, but it was hard because I just was not there. He was talking about getting like hotels, and I'm like, you're talking about wanting to make sure you have enough bread for Asia, and you're talking about, you think I'm about to pay for all the accommodations, but you want to get hotels here in the city? $100 motel here is like 2-3 nights of a luxury place in Asia. Like, what are we doing? I'm trying to be outside with you, or I was. And it's for the better. I was already starting to feel like some blame with the Asia trip. Like, you start talking about quitting his job and this, that, and the third, and trying to pin it on me. So it went from like, I'll follow you around the world, we're in love, to like, oh no, now I quit my job and I did all these things for you. It was like starting to show resentment and passive aggressiveness. And I'm not doing that. You're not gonna blame me for it. Ain't no way I traveled a whole year by myself to bring somebody along and they blame me for taking them on the adventure of a lifetime and setting some boundaries, because you're not gonna be on this trip stressing me out the whole time. Respectfully, you're not gonna wake me up and be like, Phineas and Ferb, what are we doing today? Every single day. And social media is important to me. It's not my whole life, but I feel like he was already clocking me on the trip. Like, are you gonna be working the whole time? I'm like, yeah, like not really, but I am definitely gonna like be naturally filming. I think I found a good way to incorporate it when I travel. But if they're like, okay, this is my problem. At one point we had a reel posted together, a couple reel, and I didn't delete it. I moved it off my timeline. So it was showed in my reels, but it wasn't showing on my timeline. And he woke up that day, he's like, you deleted our reel. Like, my social media is being closely watched, y'all, closely. And it got to the point, even at one point I had blocked him, and he clocked me blocking him. The whole day went by, he clocked me blocking him very shortly after. So I'm like, oh, my stuff is being monitored. I'm like, that's giving cyber sickness. I'm not a fan. And yes, if I was on this trip, I was going to get some work done, of course, but in a natural way. I'm still gonna vibe with you. There's 24 hours in the day. I'm sure I could film a couple reels and still give you my attention and still enjoy the trip for myself too. Like, but I also said I needed the time between living in my family's rental property, staying with my ex, and like the trip. I needed that time while I was staying with my ex to focus on work. So I don't know why you're trying to pull up every day with a bad mood on top of that, which is really where the doubt. If we just would have been chill till the trip, not force seeing each other, not force anything, we would have been fine. But you trying to force seeing each other to be in a bad mood together, I guess, when my mood just uplifted and I'm feeling really good and I'm excited. And then on top of that, you're not helping me plan it. You talking about getting hotels in the city, but I told him I was like, I need help planning. I'm straight up like, yeah. It wasn't a safe place to talk all the time, but he wanted to talk all the time. I could do it. He got upset at me for not celebrating our 2-month anniversary, even though we were broken up at the time. I don't know what's going on, yo. And it's crazy because like I'm not even gonna be upset because I said multiple times I was trying to take a break or break up. So you're holding me accountable for behavior I shouldn't be clocked for or checked for, because I literally said I wanted to take a break or take space or de-escalate our relationship status. So we do not feel this comfortable. You do not feel this comfortable doing the most and being disrespectful. I really hope I don't have to make a part 2. I'm making this one because I think it's a matter of safety. I'm really hoping the situation doesn't get worse because we're still kind of going through it. I'm just at this point not replying respectfully. I think it's very manipulative, as I said, to tell somebody they're gonna be alone in a decade because you don't want to be with them. Like, instead of wishing shame on yourself for how you act, or at least having a little shame, you're just gonna put all the shame on somebody else. And it's crazy because again, it was like princess treatment and then like peasant treatment sprinkled in to like humble me. Maybe it was meant to humble me or something, but again, a psych professional, so I felt like I was getting studied at some point. And you're dealing with somebody who's, no joke, trained, psychologically trained to deal with people and their mentals and like what are effective ways of like modifying somebody's behavior. So I feel like there's a way to modify somebody's behavior so they act accordingly to the way you want them to act. Who knows? I'm not sure, but it's just a thought. And that gets scary, especially when you couple that with like possible possession, obsession, dominance, pushiness. I do like dominance and a little bit, sprinkle, a bit of pushiness in consensual settings only. When it felt like it was getting to the point where I was like, okay, you're not listening to me, you're not listening to the boundary I'm setting, you're basically saying like, oh, that's nice, wipe, I want the boundary here instead. That's where it was becoming problematic. So yeah, and I figured like as soon as I canceled, he was gonna pull something slick because he was trying to like go back and forth. And I was like, okay, last chance, are you sure you're canceling? Like, do I have your clearance to cancel your flight? And he didn't want to reply. And so I was like, okay, whatever. I was like, he's gonna come back and make it seem like I'm the problem and I canceled the trip and he's the victim. I already knew it. So I went ahead and canceled it. And he was like, you really just didn't want to work through accommodations? Like, that's all you had to do? What's the issue? I told you to book them. You ain't want to book them. You talking about some, you need an invoice and this and the third, book them yourself. Like, it'd be the emotional blackouts. I don't know if he's fully aware of everything he's said and done. He did say he was living through the relationship with me, but I feel like there were some moments of emotional blackouts where like he doesn't realize the full extent of what was said and how it affected me. And a lot of my reactions or a lot of my behavior was reactionary too. Cause I'm just like, when my spirit feels unsettled by somebody, I do get mean. I will admit, I start getting a bit mean because it's like my spirit's way of being like, ooh, something's not right. We don't like this person. Like trying to get little jabs in and stuff. Usually I am not. No, I think I can say with confidence, I'm not the type to just be mean for no reason. I had said it once, I was like, I'm sorry if I'm being mean to you, but I'll gaslight myself. I'll be mean to somebody who's being mean to me, and then I'll feel bad about it. And he was like, it's okay, I like my girls mean, but I had to look at the behavior, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Like, not you publicly wishing me loneliness on my YouTube because I don't want to be with you. It got to the point where like I would either shower or take a nap. If I got a little overwhelmed by him, I would like want to go to sleep. And he called that out too. Like, y'all, he was clocking everything. He's like, oh, you only want to sleep around me. I bet as soon as I leave, you're going to get a burst of energy and go do a bunch of stuff. And he was right. Because sometimes you're around people who are draining, respectfully. They could be an amazing ass vibe and they could still drain you if they don't moderate. And I think everybody's deserving of finding somebody who matches their energy. And I realized I could not match his energy. So I'm gonna let you go do what you need to do. Like, and also I'm a lot of concern, actually. I'm very concerned over some of the things that are being said. But yeah, so I won't be surprised if like during my social media journey, some weird shit gets leaked, or I don't know what photos I may have of me, to be honest. I just know I'm not gonna be hanging around somebody who's starting to make me nervous. Very nervous. The jokes, he's in the 30s, like, oh, it's just dark humor, it's trauma, it's how I cope. And I kept trying to believe stuff, but this is the first time I wanted to hear somebody's ex's point of view. Like, cause she was the crazy, fucked up one in his story. So I was like, I kind of want to hear what she knows, cause I'm like, ooh, I'm curious. Like, but yeah, just I don't know. I don't know, y'all. It's just been uncomfortable and a little sad. And I gotta go modify a whole trip. I would have just booked differently. I booked trips so quick. I would have been done. Like, now I gotta go try to change tickets, get refunds. I'm wasting money. Like, but it's whatever. I think it's gonna, like, my piece is gonna be worth it in the end. But it's all good. The online thing is crazy. Want to be seen so bad. Like, and we had a whole talk about social media etiquette and not, like, making each other look bad. But I'm making this because I'm just like, bro, like, half of this stuff I realize is just not okay. Like, if you tell anybody else or a neurotypical person or whatever, they'd be like, literally anybody I was talking to was like, run. And then he got defensive about me talking to my friends because they was all telling me to run. And I'm like, I don't know, they might be on to something. They might be on to this. Is the most like active 2 months I've had with an individual. And I'm gonna live my life. I'm gonna enjoy myself. I worked really hard for like my social media journey and just everywhere, like everything I've gotten thus far. I'll be damned if somebody comes into my life trying to like tear that down and not telling the full side of everything. And it's so weird too, because like, you know, you have 24 hours after a flight is booked to like get a refund. I feel like 48 hours is when he started tripping about stuff. Yeah, when it was too late. And I had even canceled another trip. I was supposed to do like Carnival in the Caribbean. Remember I told you I was gonna come back, catch my little check, go to the island. I had pushed all my trips off because remember, I work for myself. I can go wherever, I can do whatever. My bread is right, I'm chilling. I was staying because of him. He's trying to be like, oh, you don't love me, this and the third. Like, I was staying because of him. I was staying in that little town, miserable as fuck, trying to make things work with him. And then I realized like, oh, I can go. So the one time I mentioned doing a cruise and coming back, oh my gosh, bro. So I'm like, okay, well, come with me. Oh, yeah, sure. I start booking stuff. Oh, I don't know. Like, but it's fine. I met him on Tinder 2 months ago, and he said, I love you in the first week. Like, girl, don't. 90-day fiance, I don't know what they got going on, but I'm good. I'm off it. I felt like I couldn't do anything right, to be honest. Like, he would tell me, like, no, you're the perfect girlfriend. Like, I want you in all capacities. I want you as you are. You've done the most to take the time to learn me and figure me out, and I really appreciate that. And he did tell me there was a mental health thing at play too. He speculates that there is some stuff going on and that it might be time for him to, like, you know, get some official professional help. And I just encourage him to go towards that. I'm really not trying to, like, shame or start nothing. This is really a safety thing. So if it's like a, hey, something weird happened, I'm not one person you may or may not be able to look at, but I'm disappointed by the whole situation. I'm going back to the note. I had to lock the note, bro. At one point when my friend was coming to stay, the one where I was like, oh, I feel like they're flirting, he goes, is she hot? And I was like, He goes, well, for that brand, because he was talking about, it's crazy too, like, all of a sudden he didn't want a roommate, but before he said he was cool with a content house. So it's giving need for drama, to be honest. Like, he's like, oh yeah, we could do a content house, that could be a vibe or whatever. And then suddenly it went from like, no, I don't want a roommate, I just want us. I made a note, he's very possessive of my time, he's trying to incorporate my work, excuse me, but it's not going well. Hates me being on my phone and will even hide it from me. Ooh, you're canceled. Would you ever stab me? Quotation, pause, then laughed. He goes, I'm sorry, that was uncalled for. At one point we were like getting into it with a tenant and he acted like he was about to do something crazy there. Like, what? Cleaned up the rooms after I was in like a depressive funk. You saved my life in quotations. Damn. I'm the devil in quotations while we were high. What the fuck, bro? Like, stuff like that, I'm just like, are you aware you're saying it? Or he said like the whole joke about like if you're with somebody, like y'all both dying, and I was like, you wouldn't kill me. He goes, I'm killing him first and then you, in quotations, if I ever cheated. I put I won't, but damn, ... Pizza 9, I'm everything you need, etc. Quotations, I'll end your whole family bloodline. What the fuck was that? Who was he talking to? Bro, take notes, write stuff down. The memory be trying to gaslight yourself. I'd cook for you more if the tenant wasn't there. Oh, my friend was there. They're like, good morning, we're rolling you a wake and bake. It could have been such a cute vibe, bro. It's just mental health. It's fine. We all go through it, but I'm not going to personally stick around. We went on a date. That was a full moon. Oh, yeah. So, like, that day we went on a date, and he was complaining about, like, the food taking long. And he started making, like, weird, dark jokes in the diner or whatever, and people were looking and stuff like that. At one point, we were in the car, and we stopped at a stoplight, and for some reason, he looks at me. He goes, get out. I was like, ooh. I was like, we're an hour away from my house. I don't got no vehicle. It's the middle, like, dead of night. He's like, get out. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, get out. And like, he started like reaching over me and like trying to like grab the door, like he was about to force me out the car. Like, and I was like, ha 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 ha. But his face was flat, bro. Like when he be making these jokes, his face should be like, I was like, I'm lucky, I know, etc. Oh yeah, so that's what happened. Like when my friend came over, they exchanged numbers. I don't even got this girl's number. I have her WhatsApp. He was like, let me call you. Oh, I don't have your number. They were exchanging numbers and they're talking, etc. The whole timeline's here. Oh yeah, they were like, let's share secrets and make handshakes because we're best friends. Mind you, he just told me I was his best friend like the other day. I was like, okay. Aha, I know I'm not crazy. That was the first time I had a friend around, by the way. So that was a new dynamic. He said, I'll leave you alone for the night. While they were talking, it was very like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. It was that energy. I made a note, like we went to bed and I was sitting there like stewing. I was like, bro, we were in the same room. We had 2 rooms we were leasing because we were supposed to have the whole house, and I gave her the spare room and me and him bunked up together. The way I just wanted to be alone that night, bro. And we had to, like, he was drunk, he couldn't drive, so he had to stay with me. And he was like, he wouldn't let me sleep, bro. He's like, I'm leaving right now. And I'm like, bro, sit down, I just want to sleep. Like, you can't drive drunk, give me your keys. They're in the other room. I'm kind of like not vibing with both of them right now. He said, I was being overly friendly and your reaction was appropriate. Okay, so I'm not crazy. Encouraging her to drink more. So then he took me to Waffle House after we talked about it. That's the thing, everything just kept getting like bulldozed over. We're like, okay, it's okay, we're fine, okay, da 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 da. He was trying to take me to 2 dates in one spot. He was like, we want breakfast or lunch? Actually, nah, we could do both. Come on, we could do Waffle House, we go to Mexican the same day. I was like, ooh. So it's really like shit's going down, but like I hope you don't see it because I'm treating you so well, sweetheart. Like that type of energy. sore after some of the times we were like together. Said he's going to fuck me the way I deserve, and I'm gonna take it because I have pain reliever. Damn, I'm glad I took notes. I forgot a lot of this. He goes, so I kept bringing up stuff that I was letting him know was not cool with me. He goes, and that's fine. You can bring it up many times as you need to, and we're going to keep talking about it until it's resolved. That was the energy. It's like, we're just going to talk everything out, and everything will be forgiven. And I wasn't, like, keen on that. It got to the point where I was like, I said, I made a note that I was like, I feel like he's fucking me rougher. And I felt like that happened when my friend came around. So I don't know if there's a correlation with that. And then I had like a weird threesome dream. Yeah, I don't know. I just be writing down little things, little notes, dreams, all of it. My subconscious be trying to speak to me a little bit. Oh, at one point when he was with my friend, he claims it's not what happened, but like she came in the room and like he was like being sexual with me before she came in. And then like he said he was readjusting. I felt like he was stroking, but he said he was readjusting. And like he was listening to her talk, but he was like moving his shit around. And I didn't like that. I thought a readjust was like a, readjust your dick. But I felt like he was like looking at her and like, And I didn't like that either. I just was clocking a little too many, I don't know. I'm not sure. Damn, bro. I'm tired. He would comment on things not being done. Like I would say I was gonna do things. I say things out loud so they get done, and sometimes everything doesn't get done. And I think that's okay. If I say I'm gonna do the laundry and the dishes and this and the third today and go to the gym, if one of those things does not get done, it gets pushed to tomorrow. I don't take it that serious. But he was holding me to that. He's like, well, you did say you were gonna do the laundry. So I would go do the laundry. He's like, let me help. Sit down. You don't have to do it right now. I'm trying to hang out with you. Like just confusing, having me running in circles, like trying to people please. Like what? Not act normal with not act normal with others and family, so it's less suspicious. The it is my doubts. Oh, fucked hard. I woke up with cramps. He suggested we continue fucking, and I just get pain reliever. Went through my phone, sent private conversation to himself, admitting that one of our kinks went too far. Emotional blackouts. Said he was gonna give me a stripper pole if we moved in together. Asked me if I needed help with bills, but I did not answer that. Said he was gonna support my IG, all that. Went into Walmart and shopped for eyelash glue for me. Like, was on FaceTime, like, which one do you want? And would always surprise me with new things. That's one of my favorite parts of our relationship. We were always trying new stuff. Like, one time we were at McDonald's, I was like, ooh, what's that holiday pie? He's like, and 2 holiday pies. Like, we were just always trying new stuff. It was really fun. He said, I love talking to you. I love how you see the world and your verbiage. He said, these are the best. After we did a little photo shoot for him, he was looking so good. He was like, these are some of the best pictures anyone has ever taken of me. Thank you, baby. You did so good. My little praise king came in there. Called out, don't be a nigger in Walmart. Oh my God, bro. I don't even like, don't be a N-word. Walmart. Playing Nickelodeon Smash game, drunk together. Mentioned, oh yeah, he mentioned needing an allowance. He would kept trying to manage my OF and media stuff. He was like, let me be your social media manager, this and the third. I was like, no, thank you. Not, why didn't you take me to the Hilton? So when I was washing my bread, at one point we did go trip. He got the first hotel. I think I got the second, and I picked like a red roof or something, nothing too fancy. He's like, oh, you got me in the Sheraton. I was like, all right. Calm it down. Calm it down. Oh, he did give me this cute pop-it socket that I could fidget it with, like it spins. And it was Dutch, like it had the Dutch flag on it. I'm not reminiscent. Well, actually I am. I'm a very like nostalgic, reminiscent person. And I'm learning that humans are very complicated. Actually, I know that already. Humans are very complicated, and I try to see both sides of things. So that's what you're getting, essentially. I think at one point I did ask him to not smoke, and I like begged him to stay sober, and he still went to get like drunk and high. So I was like, ooh, that's giving like, and I started doing the same thing. I was like, well, I'm gonna be sober, and then I wasn't, because it was just kind of like the state of mind we stayed in. I was saying the mental breakdown was fine, but he was being mean. That was the issue. Like, he lost his little smoking device and started having an attitude after that. At some point he said his drugs were missing, and I didn't like that because my friend was visiting. I felt like he was trying to accuse of something. Oh, and, not come get fucked. Helped me detangle my hair despite the frustrations. Dancing in the car wash together. See, I wrote down everything. I had stopped and he was like, don't, your joy inadvertently brings me joy. Handwritten letters. Damn, this is complicated. It's messy, y'all. Just playing on the game. His friend asked if he was in a relationship again, and he said, yeah, but this is the last one guaranteed. We got into an argument in the shower, and the nigga almost busted his fucking head on the floor. But I did catch him. And then we stopped fighting after that. Helping each other through breakdowns. We got big emotions, but I'm enjoying this little life with you. So poetic, y'all. Very poetic. Could have been so good. I'm a pleasure dom with a fixation on you. Not you haven't got my dick in a week. Bro, these quotes are hilarious. Like, out of context. All this shit's just like bullet pointed. Stop. Now I'ma just say, yikes, I don't like that. Now you owe me a head. Stop. I'ma just take you. It's crazy. Again, I do have a roughness kink if it is strictly consensual. For the most part, I was comfortable. We only had one incident where I was kind of like, that was disgust. Nina, you're safe with me. This is a safe place to fall. Never shut the fuck up. I love hearing you talk. The sun looks so good on your skin. Car ride, dancing, vibing. Oh, holding me in the shower even though he was wearing clothes just to kiss me. I had to tweet that. Crying, damn. Y'all, I'm gonna focus on myself. This is just too painful. It said, heard me laughing at a tweet hard in the bathroom and ran in to look, but I already knew he would. That's funny as fuck. Not the toe sucks, screaming. Because my wife is a whore, jokingly, but I was not offended. Gave his grandma 1K. We binged Squid Games, and in quotes, it says, put your phone down, you're mine for the night. I'm in bed. Nah. I did get a spanking kink and whack, Joe, I'm not gonna lie. You could throw me over your knee a little bit. Appa yip yip in quotations, stop. Not calling me by saying Appa yip yo. Damn, we did the mukbangs for my other channel. He called me goddess, LMAO, which broke his pride because he said he's not a client, which I respect. Podcast energy. Oh, okay, so the day we did the podcast and I lost followers because he popped up on the live, he offered to buy promo for the account so I didn't lose followers anymore. But then I did just end up going off the live. Oh, what are you thinking about how lucky I am? Amazing wake and bake dick. These notes are sending me. Holding my hands and fucking. It be the sex, y'all. Straight up, it be the sex. Be careful. Came on my. Ooh, whoa. Okay, with that, it's not first scene. But then clean me up after with wipes. Okay. So the musical art I should pursue is singing. Temporarily love me. Oh, Chinese food and cookies for Christmas. I tried to cash up him. He told me not to worry about it. I said I don't want him paying for everything. He said he wanted to. Feeding cookies and blowing bubbles after Christmas Eve. Damn, y'all. Crazy how it go, ain't it? Your lashes give you a certain aura. They do, don't they? They do. And they do. I know. Thank you for giving me a chance. Kissing my knuckles while watching Upper Island. This is my pussy, I'm fucking when I want. Stop acting like you don't want my dick. Yikes. No, it's crazy. Offered his jacket when I forgot mine. Thank you for coming into my life. Response was, thank you for letting me stay. He said, your in love face is so beautiful. Brought home seafood. Damn, stopped by the gas station to get me extra pads when I was on my period. Y'all, this blows. and liners, because I mentioned once that I wanted to try to use liners. Feeding me chocolate and eating me out at the same time is crazy. That is criminal. And bringing snacks every time we got back in the car. Stop. Ooh, yikes. Oh my god. I'm going to go. This is my yikes. I don't know about that one. That's like pushing the boundary. Damn. Road trips, giving me a tour. You think this is a game? Because I didn't want to cuddle one night. Bro, shut the fuck up, please. He says been flooding me with chocolates because flowers have been low in stock. Opening my car door, taking out the trash together. Sharing his fries and half a cookie. Stop. I just want to make sure my baby's okay. He used to give me sizzlies and a whole bunch of stuff in the morning because they're my favorite. Damn. Told me I was above work, family, etc. Commuted for me, sushi, checkers, date, and soju night. Oh yeah, he did see a Polaroid of me and my ex from the Puerto Rico trip and left it open and then like did a whole bunch of cryptic stuff, and I keep everything. Blowing bubbles. You want me or something? Well, I want you. I want to fuck. Oh, stop. It's crazy, y'all. I want to but I'm being a gentleman and asking before I take it. Mixed emotions. Holiday pies. Not playing with my pubes. That's crazy. It's crazy because this really was the type of love I was looking for straight up. But it's to the point of no return. So it is what it is. Not cowboys versus aliens. Stop. Tell me why one time we would like voice, like he was pretending to be a cowboy and I was pretending to be an alien. That shit was sick. Nah, that was crazy. Took me off D&D. I'm thinking about how much you being cute is gonna buy your mouth extra leeway. That's hilarious. Helpful, cleaning up. Fake karate nunchucks with my tampon. Supportive of me, working on New Year's and cleaning up for me. Super helpful and encouraging, always. Quote, sometimes I do things to get your attention. I know. Yeah, oh, wearing Chanel perfume and smells so good too. Making me randomly smile and feel good. I'm the safe option, which was actually not a good thing. That was in quotes. He's saying I'm the safe option. I'm the one people don't pick. Bet you would have got picked if you weren't moving too wild, my good sir. Got high and spoke about revenge against our ultimate abuser. That comment I told y'all about. He said he is offing himself and I'm the last genuine person in his life. Told me he did not want pity at some point. There's something in there I can't share. I'm not going that far to share it. There are two things I will not be sharing that are huge red flags and would not allow me to continue further, but we are going to protect privacy. Yep. That's a bit contradicting because he did say he would make it easier to leave if that's what I really wanted and needed, but when I stated that I wanted that, it became problematic. He promised to never hurt me and my family. He said he's not dangerous, he's just emotional. His snap was jumping, I didn't like that, but he didn't really go into detail on all the messages. He did. It was so. Damn, I really am hooked on the Chanel perfume. I wrote it down twice. Called me weird as storming out, destructive. I put a note saying needed to see that. Broke a painting next to me, aggressive, stormed out, left the front door open. So this was, I think, shortly after the denial or around that time. And then we discussed moving in or trying to travel instead. That's how the Asia trip happened. Had an attitude the next day because I wasn't giving him enough attention. But he did slide by and help me with something I needed help with. It feels like he's training me not to leave or say no. Yikes. Called my wig stiff, and they are. So it's funny. I don't know why I put that down. He said it in the mean voice. That's why I think I did. Oh yeah, he did drive a whole hour just to bring me food. Because I could have easily like DoorDash or whatever. But he drove an hour just to, like, we could not hang out. I was in the middle of something. He brought me food and something that was really important because I was doing something. And just left, which was crazy to me. And I did Cash App him plenty. Trust. It was not a user situation. quote unquote, maybe I'm abusive after realizing some people keep distance from him. I like gaming with you. You like doing everything with me. Yes. Contentious date night. Went away. Wants to buy me laundry. He can rip off. He found these cool, oh my God, he would always find really cool stuff. He found these whipped cream cans, like alcoholic whipped cream shots. Oh, they're so good. They're so good, bro. Like, ain't no way. Memorizing card info, yeah. I have a screenshot of him on social media. Oh, so that happened too, right? I think he was just having a bad day. Remember I told you there was a reel and I didn't delete it? I just moved it off my timeline. He commented, he's like, hey, it's the guy from the post you deleted. I know it was short-lived and I've been cast aside. Enjoy your new money and your new life, you weirdo. If you ever see this, vomit emoji. That one was kind of like eye-opening for me too, because I believe, oh, I remember. So he was on the way for that date, that one Wednesday. I believe it was a Wednesday. And he was driving through bad weather, bad mood, already ready, had this like, okay, prove yourself to me. And I had removed the reel and he took it personally. I have actually posted a reel of us on my spam page of us together. And like, he thought it was deleted and he had snapped on me. Like, he was literally on the way to come see me. I will never forget this. He was on the way to come see me. And then like, right after we got off FaceTime, I get that nasty ass note on my IG when my friends and like my, well, not family, but my personal friends, like spam page. And I was like, oh, you a little too comfy, because the reel's not deleted. You're loud and wrong. The reel's not deleted, it's still there. It's just not off the page. I don't keep reels on my page. I just keep pictures. Again, if there's any there, it's because I just posted them and I haven't had a chance to clean them up and hit like remove all profile grid or whatever. Like, bro, you taking social media way too seriously. And I didn't realize he was watching my stuff too closely until like little things like that was happening. But anyways, I digress. I keep telling you, you don't have to do things alone anymore. That was beautiful. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. And the note is I'm done. I don't need to take notes anymore. This is kind of proof that you can have something very beautiful with someone that is still extremely brutal, and unfortunately it might just not work out, and that's okay. There's been too many things, like it takes a lot of healing. I'm starting to realize it's hard to like restore or like go back to a relationship where shit was that bad, but it's all good. There's text too. It got pretty messy. But I'm keeping all receipts and I told him everything straight up, like fully transparent. I was like, I felt peer pressure. I'd be taking space. Like, you assumed a lot. You pushed me away. And he was just kind of in this like, whatever, F you mode. And I'm like, okay, what about Asia? And it's like, whatever, F Asia. And just, y'all, it's for the better. All right, it's the last thing I want to do. And again, you have something so beautiful, but I hate that it ended so brutally. I really thought, like, I felt comfy. I was like, damn, like immediately finding like what I thought might be the love of my life after 5 years, 4 years in a on and off relationship, toxic relationship, and then 1 year by myself traveling, finding myself. I was like, damn. But anyways, I'm trying to see how it got this bad. It literally happened over the weekend. Okay, so we basically came to the discussion about like, yes, and he's like, you know what, it's cool. In all fairness, he did say like, okay, I didn't know I had to pay for accommodations, but I hear you and I will pay for them. So he was like, let me skim real quick, because I'm not trying to keep y'all this long, my bad. But he was like, okay, that's fine with me. I was like, I think 1K, and we had a whole bunch of different cities left, but there were shorter stays and whatever. I had already booked some of the accommodations and all of the flights by myself. I didn't ask for no bread. So I was like, if you could throw 1K my way, because I spent thousands, I'm like, if you could throw 1K towards accommodations, you're set for those couple of months. He's like, okay, cool, that's all you need to like finish off the trip. And I'm like, yeah. And I was also saying, like, just because of like the state of everything, like, it sucks that we had to break up before the trip, but like, you were terrorizing me, bro. And then I was like, well, damn, if we're not gonna live together, I was like, straight up, like, I was trying to let him know, like, I was trying to be transparent and be like, I don't know where I'm gonna go, but if it's not living with you, I might just, you know, I might stay over there. I don't know. So I think kind of had this like, oh no, if we're not in this together till the end of time, then I don't want anything to do with it. But he's like, it's cool, I can send the money Monday, because my stuff won't move out the weekend. I was like, okay, cool. I was telling him I was excited my clothes came in. And also I asked him if he wanted me to call the apartment, because at some point he did mention, he's like, they're still holding on to the holding fee. Well, he didn't say that he wanted him to return it, but he mentioned it. So I was like, well, if we're not moving in together and you want your holding fee back, or it seems like you're implying that, should I call? So I was like, do you want me to call tomorrow? He's like, and what are you gonna tell him? And I'm like, we're not living together. Like, And he was like, also, to be clear, are you not gonna take me to go get tattoos or teach me how to swim? Because we had like stuff we were gonna do beforehand, but remember, every time we hung out, this is why I was living with my ex, every time we hung out, it got to a point of contention, so I didn't want to hang out anymore. So anyways, oh, and then on top of that, y'all, on top of the Christmas gifts I got, he didn't even say thank you. I got him like a pair of glasses he wanted, and he's like, he kept looking for him. He's like, well, you can give me the glasses now if you want. And I'm like, I haven't ordered them yet. So I was like, they weren't in his gift. Like I got him like a Polaroid, like a notebook, a journal, a whole bunch of stuff. And I was like, well, you could just send your address for the glasses. And so he did send the address, but like he was like weird about the like, he said, please don't do anything weird. I'm like, you know addresses, okay? You know multiple property addresses of people I know. You know a lot of my business. You've been in my passwords, and now you're talking about an address I've already pulled up to before, or we pulled up together before, like, so I could send the glasses, like, because I didn't, because I'm like, I was staying with my ex and I want to have mail delivered and blah blah. Anyways, he's like, so are you back on not wanting to live together? And so we started talking about that. So yeah, it just became a point of contention. Oh, I said we can't even hang out anymore and have a non-passive aggressive day, unfortunately. And so he was like, I didn't ask you to remind me that I'm an emotional burden and that I'm negative. Thank you for answering. If we can't be roomies or whatever. He's basically saying that we could have been roommates, but I was basically saying that we can't even hang out in the car without it being an issue, without you forcing forever down my throat, without you talking about a relationship, without it just being a vibe. Like, we can't hang out in a car for a couple hours without there being an issue. I really don't think we'll be good living together roommates. I work from home. I'm home a lot, and I don't like my time being claimed. Sure, or at least not all of it. So it was like right after, that's how it happened. Like, we were supposed to book accommodations for the Asia trip, and he's like, all right, cool, I'll send the money Monday. And then during the weekend, it was like, so we're not living together? Like, I'm just trying to make sure, like, AKA it's a package deal. Like, I can send you money for the accommodations, but like, what's happening after Asia? And I already mentioned a few times, I don't think we're gonna be good roommates. That's why I was like, do you want me to call the apartment? Like, AKA Asia could happen, living together, no. And I even told him, I was like, if you want to, and this is when I was gaslighting myself, because after everything, I really should just have like immediately let go. But I was like, I would honestly be more comfortable pursuing a relationship outside of living together or seeing how that goes. And even then, I told him straight up, I was like, I'm dating for marriage, and I think it's not gonna happen. Respectfully, I was like, it's not gonna happen, the marriage thing, just based off everything that's happened. I'm not gonna waste your time, because he's like, don't make me a bookmark. I was like, I'm not gonna waste your time, do your thing. I think living together is just gonna make it worse, because like, when do we split? All that time in somebody's face, like, okay, look, we should just be together. I'm not gonna invalidate everything that happened. So we got into arguing about that again. My problem is people be like, oh, I need a roommate. And they'll be like, no, it's really just for this. And then they have these secret agendas like, no, I wanna fuck. No, I wanna be your man. No, I want this. And it's really not just for roommates only. So they started being passive aggressive. I told them, I was like, I feel peer pressured by you because we just broke up. You're pushing to be exclusive. You're talking about we could be platonic roommates, but you're also pushing me to be in a relationship every time we talk. And he's like, well, you're lying every conversation. So that's how it got heated again. And I'm over here, I'm like, I'm not lying. I'm like, you're not even giving me an environment where I feel like I can talk. So he started sending, honey, he went in, calling me and on stuff. And it was the combination of the talk. It was very condescending. You're not a lover girl. You need to be a big girl. You just want to make people jealous. You're using caps locks, like, and mind you, we were talking about accommodations for Asia and just understanding we would not live together. I think hearing that made him pop off. And it ended with, like, he sent a whole bunch of stuff about other stuff, and then it ended with, and I'm not sending the money until I have an invoice of accommodation, since I'm not allowed to know this and that and blah 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 blah, etc. You're literally eviscerating my mental fortitude and health as fast as I can stack it by telling you I can't be with you, by telling you the truth, by telling you that I'm uncomfortable with my stuff and my sanity and everything, and I'm just hoping we could salvage Asia and be okay together and be on a trip. We can't even hang out in your car for a couple hours without things going to shit. Like, and it wasn't like that before. So I was like, I asked for space multiple times. You keep postponing it. Everything you complained about, I'm not responding to because you didn't respect me enough in the first place to respect my ask for space. I cannot force feeling, compatibility, or comfortability. If blaming everything on me helps the process, do what you need to do. And I told him, I was like, I might just book the rest of my stuff as hostels. Everything's still booked, I'm not canceling anything. I tried to involve you in the process. Everything's been booked. It's up to you if you still want to do this trip. final dates or blah, 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 blah. He goes, if you're trying to get me off the trip, then thanks, you got it. I'm like, I didn't say that. I'm just saying I'm not comfortable in spaces with you anymore, unfortunately, which is hard. We're supposed to go on a trip together. Us being in spaces together is room for contention. I don't like the outcomes of it. We can't be in a car together. We can't be in a room together. Like, I don't know what happened. But so I literally said, like, all final dates and information, everything's good. Just, you got to book your stuff. And if you want me off the trip, so he started getting into that, like, well, I'm just not trying to, instead of saying, like, I will not go on the trip, it was, if you want me off the trip. I'm like, I'm not saying that. I'm just letting you know I'm trying to do this trip according to my comfort levels. And my comfort levels are telling me I need to stay somewhere else. Take your BS and delusional appraisals, this, that, and third. Just like really starting to get mean. I was like, and I told him, I go, like literally says, you're really mean, have a good day. He goes, takes a meaning to no one. I was like, then I pray you see yourself one day. And then he starts coming for me. You can't be honest with myself. Have a nice little trip, blah, blah, blah. I said, next time somebody asks for space or a breakup, just respect that and you avoid a lot of the problems you're pinning on them. Talking people out of that and then blaming them for not being more considerate or coming off as confusing is very unfair. I don't think you realize how pushy you get when you want something, and it makes it hard to move around you if your happiness is not the main priority. He goes, you went from love bombing to fully pulling back. You threatened my parents, bro. Like, bro. You got dark and cryptic. Of course I went from love bombing to pulling back. Look at what you said and did. Like, bro. So we got into it. I said I put myself first, vocalize, etc. It just goes on. Y'all, it just goes on and on. Clearly you don't give a fuck about this, accommodations. So then I had gone in, and the whole time I still didn't get mean. I did not get mean, y'all. Damn. I almost want to put the text thread there, but I'm not gonna waste y'all's time like that. I told him why I asked to break up because I was finally in a safe space, and then like he was coming after my peace. You were on this I'll quit my job and follow you around the world energy. I was in love and I was here for it. The love child of that is now this trip, and a lot has changed. A lot was done and said, and unfortunately we have to deal with that. I'm not able to handle the feelings you put on me. I moved into a safe space and told you to trust me and give me grace. I wanted to be away from the rental house as well. There was no heat. Like, come on now. I'm literally crying myself to sleep cold. I was like, you focused less on that and you just wanted to focus on you and what you had going on and how you think I was hurting you. I let him know at the rental property too, things were already getting emotional and way too intense. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, it was just me moving on my ex that I realized, like, oh, clarity. Just me trying to tiptoe and be straight up. Although you can keep making me look like the bad guy for expressing myself. You're picking and choosing what you want to hear. I just mellowed out and I'm minding my business. And then he was calling me out, talking about I'm not sexually attracted to him because he kept trying to get me to stick before I leave, or when he'd leave and come see me. I was like, I'm attracted. I'm not in the mood, and that's okay. We don't have to be sexual every time we link. I was like, stop marketing everything as a weird smear campaign against me and consider actual possibilities. Like, I shouldn't have to defend just not wanting to do stuff, like, which is crazy because when we first met, one of the things I liked about him, he was sexually disciplined, and he actually denied me. Like, I wanted to like, he's like, no, I'm gonna eat you out, and then like, that's it, I'm gonna send you on your way. So I guess now he got the hit, he like, oh, this shit good. And now when I don't want to give it up, it's like what do you mean? I'm like, I said conversations about our relationship being forced every time we hang out is not fun either. I just want to vibe and enjoy a little slice of life with you. And so, yeah. And then I was like, he started ignoring, and I was like, okay, are you still going? And I go, are you okay? And I was like, last confirmation check. Are you or are you not going on the trip? The tickets are non-refundable. I've already spent about $2K on flights. I'm not gonna feel bad for voicing how I felt. And then, so then he didn't say anything. I deleted our couples channel. And he's like, oh, so I see you couldn't send me the itinerary, but you could delete our couples account or whatever. Like I said, I don't even want to go anymore. I won't be comfortable. Or no, you said you won't be comfortable with me going. I didn't say that. I'm saying the shared space thing is a little. He goes, you want to travel alone? Nothing's stopping you. I said, are you going to trip? Yes or no? He goes, for the 4th time now, no. I am not welcome, and I'm not going to force myself where the vibe doesn't fit. He said that. I was like, 4th time, all right. And then I was like, I swear we respectfully part ways. I'll remove all contact. If that's okay, I want to expedite our healing process and not be reminded of this immense loss, financially, emotionally, everything. And he was like, you never respected me, but LOL. And I was like, I'm just not a beggar. You're twisting my words in action. Do your thing. I'll be the bad guy if you need me to. And then I was like, okay, he's probably having a mood swing. I was like, let me be like cutesy and like, you know, like, hey, like, you know, like, let me show a little love. Cause he told me like he gets really cold and abrasive. He goes, in those moments I need love. But that's coming off as begging. It's starting to it's giving begging to me. So I had followed up and he ignored my messages for a while. Like he shut down. I texted a whole bunch of stuff. I was replying to what he had to say. He was unsending messages, voice messages, regular messages. So I also looked crazy, sending a whole bunch of stuff. He got all smug. He's like, you're not going to cancel anything. You're going to spend more money or whatever, but I hope you have a blessed time, etc. Have fun. The lover girl in you was on life support if she ever existed. You threatened my family, bro. Like, we not going to keep doing this. And so I was like, all right, whatever, I'll play your game. He's like, I found somewhere to live. I'm going on different trips, like, blah, blah, blah. Damn, I did tell him, I was like, the credit's only under your name. So I was having issues with like ticket stuff and a whole bunch of stuff, realizing I couldn't get my credit back. And so he's like, oops, oh, darn. He's like, well, I don't know why that's my problem. Like, we could have been on that trip together. I was like, okay, all right. So I sent him a picture showing that like it's canceled. He goes, so you choose to cancel instead of working through the accommodations, question mark. He goes, I still haven't gotten a clear answer on it if you canceled or not, but gave plenty of chances for it to not be for real. I don't even know what that means. So basically the moment I canceled, he was like, oh my God, why would you cancel? We could have worked through this. And that was that. Yeah, that was that. It was just a lot. It was a lot. And I was hurt. I was at some point trying to like, damn, she gonna do me like that? She gonna waste my time and emotion and bread? Like, but it is what it is. And I read the note because it was just complicated. There was a lot of love in the relationship, but there's just some stuff I cannot forgive. I thought the trip would be okay, even though I was a little worried, but I thought the trip would be fine. But that is now canceled too, and that is that. Yo, I'm tired. It was the microaggressions for real, and the big ones. Like sometimes there were heavy explosions, and sometimes it was just like, you're not doing it. We were cooking. So you're not cooking this right. You're not just like snapping out of nowhere. And I've seen that happen. I've seen girls with their partners. It's an overwhelming burst of anger and it has to go somewhere. And I just refuse to be the person it goes to. Like, you're gonna have to redirect that jitsu or whatever. That's gonna have to go somewhere else. But I say, y'all, that's all I wanted to share. It's quite unfortunate. I booked this trip when I was in love and I was so excited. I've never flown anybody out and I wasn't throwing it in his face. I didn't even bring up the cost of the flights or ask him for money. I wanted to make him feel very comfortable about accepting the flights. But once it got to the point where it's like, oh, you're not paying for the accommodations for multiple months, by the way, where we would have been paying rent anyways if we hypothetically lived together, and the clothes for his trip, and talking about if he sees some shit he likes on a trip, he wants to pick it out. I'm like, oh, you're getting greedy. Respectfully, you're getting greedy. Ain't no way. I wouldn't have taken anything from you if I know you're gonna move like that. So it is what it is. Like I said, he did hit me up after all the messaging. He went to ignoring me, and now I'm being watched on social, and it's just extremely uncomfortable. And I do hope he loses the fixation. And I'm gonna just try my best to like heal and overwrite whatever happened in the last like 2 months, because I'm just, the thing, if you watch the story time about my parents and like the car check and all that stuff, it made it worse because at that time I should have just had the resources to like up and go. And I really should have. I kind of like, I was working again. I stabilized and I could have just up and left, but I was like, oh no, he's still cool, before like the other like more things he kept doing and saying came out. But I really should have just left. Every time I come home, it's some weird shit, bro. But I digress. That's all. Sorry if the story time was mad depressing. I might throw some stuff on the end if I think of anything else. I didn't want to make this story time at all, but I'm just really uncomfy. Like, he's been on my socials. The fact that you're so quick to bash me on social media is like you didn't threaten, bro. I'm so glad I took notes. I was going through the notes and I'm just like, oh, like shit, I literally forgot. But so I'm gonna go work and mind my business. And telling me I'm gonna be lonely because I don't want to be with you, that's just so, bro. I'm gonna mind my business. I just want to let you know that things could be very, very beautiful and like super lovey-dovey and like fairy tale-ish and still have a dark side to them. And I think it's a very important, I know humans tend to fixate on the negative, but I think it's very important to listen to the negatives because they can save you from, you know, being 5-10 years down the line and being like, oh my gosh, those were glaringly red flags. and I should have paid attention. So I stopped at the 2-month mark. I learned that from old situationships, etc. I do feel like this person was a mirror to me, because I'm gonna be completely honest, I used to act the same way, and I was like, no, take my love, like you're not, that approach does not work. It's a bad look. Please don't force yourself on anyone in any type of way. It doesn't even have to just be physical, because that's wrong in itself. We know that one. That's like, no, never force yourself on anybody physically. But emotionally, mentally, psychologically, those are still very invasive ways to violate somebody. So clock yourself, be careful, regulate, go get busy, get a hobby, something, I don't know, find a new fixation. But yeah, I'm chilling now, and I'm definitely taking a break from dating, because what the fuck? Like, oh my gosh. Wait, honey, the honeymoon phase is scary. I had to sober. I was like, I need to stop smoking, I need to stop drinking, I need to think. I need a safe space where I could think. I started thinking, I was like, what the fever dream, bro. Fever dream. I started having bad dreams about this dude. He's not a bad person. I don't think he is. I think he's been through bad things, and I think he's trying to navigate that and be the best he can. So I'm not here to talk shit, but just a little warning. I got some entertainment for y'all and a learning lesson for me. Hey, money comes back around. Memories, you can't mess with those. Once they in, and they'll flare up at random times. So the price of my peace preceded me going on this trip with the person and being like, oh, I'm on a trip with somebody, woohoo. I love traveling solo. It's my own personal special time. I would not have done this trip the way I'd done it, adjusting the dates, booking fancy hotels, flying somebody out for somebody just to have them turn around and move like this. But it is what it, and then be calling my phone, have the audacity to call my phone the next day. You got me booked up. But anyways, price of my peace, okay? Priceless. And money gonna come back around. The trip's gonna be amazing. I'm gonna get me a cute tripod. I'm gonna still wear my cute outfits. I don't know what's gonna happen. I could just go. Japan's super safe. A lot of these places are. Like, I do enjoy being in Asia. I could just cancel and push it off and stay here. I don't know. But if you want to fumble a bad bitch and a trip because you want to stress her out every day because she's not behaving the way you're trying to train her to behave, after forgiving a lot, I told him other people would have walked away already. Trust. I'm not trying to say you're not getting love. You don't gotta hit me with the you'll never be loved and 10 years you're sad and alone. No, I'm just saying the way you're acting currently is not going to attract your future soulmate. And it's not me, unfortunately. I thought it was, it's not me. The way you're behaving now, you're sending people away. So how can you analyze your own behavior to figure out why people don't want to be around you? I'm the same way. Not everybody wants to be around me. I'm not a perfect person. Yeah, and I have my limitations too, and the things I need to fix as well. We're all fucking human, bro. We're all human. But I get it, like, humans are complicated. But so again, this is not to bash. This is kind of like an insurance video, to be honest, and safety. He's made it clear he does not respect all my boundaries, so I'm just trying to move carefully, and I know time's gonna go by, and I want to be like, oh, that was such a crazy 2 months. I'm gonna just go ahead and get it off my chest. Maybe I'll keep this video private or whatever, but I just know it's here. My memory be trying to overwrite stuff too. Like, sometimes I forget, sometimes my brain, as a defense mechanism, will overwrite things, and I'll disassociate just so I don't have to process them because they were that like, ooh, like, you know, so. And I don't know if that's healthy either, but yeah, I am really grateful for the great times. I am disappointed that the bad times were as bad as they were. And he's like, you paint me in a negative view. And I'm just like, no, unfortunately, the negative has overpowered the positive. And I know the positive is so beautiful. You have a beautiful spirit when you want to have a beautiful spirit. But if it's going to come back as a spiteful thing or, oh, I did this for you and blah, 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 I can't deal with that either. Yeah, but anyways, thank y'all for watching. Hopefully this helps somebody who's watching, especially if you're in a situation you don't know what's going on. And there's also a thing is, like, I'm not gonna be dramatic and be like, oh, I forgot the word, Stockholm stuff. It's not that serious, but it is kind of like you'll get to the point where the person who's hurting you out of toxicity or the love you're used to, you get addicted or attached. Let's say attached. Addicted is a strong word. You get attached to those feelings, both the good and negative, and they keep you there by fucking with you all the time. So yeah, that's all. Thank y'all for watching. My bad for this crazy story time. I'm about to go to the gym and edit it now. But yeah, and I just spent like, bro, I just gave him like 100. The numbers don't matter, but I just gave him a bag full of gifts. No thank you. Booked the trip, coming from my throat. Mad at me for not wanting to stay in a house that has no heat in the middle of winter.
If you made it this far, first off, I want to say thank you. You are lit, okay? Because I know I struggle with summarizing, but this was also a very crazy, crazy time period of my life. And you know what's funny? He said something because I told him I'm usually not the story time type. I feel like with story times, it's so, oh my gosh, I'm perfect, and everybody else is bad and crazy. And I really don't like to do story times like that. So I try to take accountability as much as I can. I feel like I'm in a mature enough place to do a story time without trying to be biased or cast shame or blame on anybody else. That being said, at one point he was like, oh, I wonder how long of a story time I would have, because he was talking about cancellation and story times already, and we were just starting to date. Y'all, and this is somebody who was excited after I screenshotted, we pulled up to his family's house for the first time. I screenshotted, safety, I'm a woman, and we left, and he kind of had this oh, you don't really love me because you didn't even write down where I lived. I was like, no, I took a screenshot, and he was happy. Oh, he was hyped. He's like, oh, you really love me, but why do I need your address? Unless we get into crazy territory or just uncomfortable, boundary crossing territories, I don't think that's something you should be excited over. First, it was kind of funny, oh, haha. And then it was kind of oh, no, we shouldn't be excited over this. Anyways, I digress, but I want to tell you the end of how everything went down, because there is more things that happen afterwards. And I also want to say that there are two conflicting sides when it comes to me loving. There's the lover girl side who tries to look past so much, logic included, and there's a side of me where I know I need to stand on my shit and stand up for myself and really just seek the love I deserve, and would they be kind of conflicting. So that's what was kind of happening with the back and forth. But okay, oh my gosh, I'm tired. But on a happy little note, I am sitting in a luxury hotel about to go get me a nice massage, flower bath, and I just had a floating breakfast, okay? Your girl is very much in Bali at the moment. Anyways, the thing I struggled the most with this relationship was trying to figure out what was genuine. I do know there was love there, but he did also joke about playing the long game with me, whatever that looked like. And remember, he was in psych. Usually I'm really good with reading people, energy, seeing past certain stuff. Some people fool me. Some people get past me. I'm no master. All right, I'm no master of energy and intuition and all of that. So I feel like there was genuine love there, but I was also kind of a test subject of seeing how far he could push my boundaries, how far he could push my emotion, what reactions he could get out of me. And I will admit, I did it to him too sometimes, because I saw him doing it, and then it became a very toxic, unhealthy game we were playing. But that being said, right? So the trip's coming up, and I can't stop thinking about how much money I wasted. Y'all, I didn't even calculate the numbers. I just know it hit 1K. I spent so much on his tickets, and I was baffled when he thought I was still gonna pay for the accommodations too, and was talking about shopping, getting him clothes. He's like, oh, I thought I was baby boy. I guess I was confused. I guess if you want to go broke over Asia for me, you can. Da, 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 da. I'm like, did you ever have any intention on coming? Because when I was booking, he wasn't excited, and this is before we started having issues. So that being said, I'm I don't know. And then at one point he did say, is there anything that would get this trip canceled? And I was thinking no, don't worry about it. Don't worry. And I kept all the confirmation numbers in my control, because I know he gets very unpredictable. I would probably not even be on this trip right now, because he could have been spiteful and canceled the whole thing. I didn't send him anything. I wasn't trying to be controlling. I just didn't trust us or him to have the confirmation numbers, because the tickets were together. They were booked together, some of them. And so the trip comes up, right? We're still chatting. We're trying to just figure out what this looks like. He apologized. He's like, I'm sorry about the trip. And I just started bawling my eyes out or whatever. So he was still pulling up for, some points. And he told me that he would take me to the airport in DC. I was not sure about this, and I'm so glad none of my stuff was tampered with. And that's how I should have known already. I know. I already know. I'm not going to say should have known. I already know. But it's just continuous red flags. Thankfully, nothing happened. I think he just came to get the goods and try to vibe with me one last time before I left. And he did say something. He's trying to be spiteful. He's like, oh, well, at least I hit, or blah, 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 whatever. We'd be saying shit when we're angry. But he decided to go with me, and I was already thinking, oh my gosh, what if he planned something in my bag? And these Asian countries are strict. You could really go to proper jail for that. What if he takes the money I have? What if this? What if that? What if he does something on my phone or deletes my IG before I go? The fact that I'm even having these thoughts with this individual before a big trip is crazy. So we go up to DC, and it was all good. It was fun until we checked into the Airbnb I booked for us. He had pointed one out that he liked. I got it, and I just wasn't comfortable with how pushy he was. He was extremely pushy. I told him I was not having sex with him before we went on the trip. I go, we can go. This is a mini trip, right? Before my airport. We're going to split ways right before I leave for the airport. I was like, I am not sleeping with you. He's like, yeah, like whatever, like, I just want to vibe, da da da. He got super pushy. It was like a really intense night. It was kind of a blur. Substances were involved. I realized I was using way too much when I was with this individual, and he had a few moments too where he realized he was overusing too. And it was just a very intense night. I had to keep telling him no, and then eventually we went to sleep. At some point, I woke up paranoid that he was gonna mess with my stuff, and I'd see him like kind of up, whatever. Anyways, the next morning comes, and I'm begging him to come on the trip. The lover girl in me is just like, bro, and come on, the money spent, really? Anyways, I'm like, you are right here. I could rebook your ticket right now. It's the same price, etc. You told me if I ever need anything to ask you, I'm asking. And the answer was no. He ended up getting on the road and driving across the country for a $2,000 computer so he can start gaming. So I do hope he's having a great time gaming instead of going to Asia. But you know what? Everybody's happiness looks different. It was very hurtful. I did tell him that with my ex. And okay, this was another thing. I don't really treat guys like I'll do a little dinner or something, but I don't do big gestures unless you're about to be my husband. With my ex, he kind of forced rent because just the situation got bad. And right after he went to go buy a PS5 and a Switch, that broke me. All right, I was not offering rent. He forced it out my hand because I just didn't want us to get evicted. With this, I voluntarily spent money for the first time on somebody I thought I cared about a lot, and they turned around and went and bought a $2,000 computer. So I hope y'all are having fun on your devices. Do what you do. Just stop involving other people. Anyways, bye, y'all.